They cut me out of Thanksgiving like I didn't exist. What they didn't know was that I just bought a $6.2 million estate, completely on my own. Before I go on, make sure you share this story, because the ending still stuns me when I think about it. I'm Emily. My whole life, I was the family disappointment. Hannah, my sister, was the golden child who could do no wrong. My brother Daniel was the so-called business genius who everyone adored. And me, I was the punchline, the one with no direction, no success, no real job. What they didn't realize was that while they were busy judging me, I was quietly building something far beyond their imagination. This Thanksgiving was supposed to be my moment, finally sitting at the same table as their equal. But when the invites went out, mine didn't show up. When I asked Mom, she said, "Emily, it's going to be a more sophisticated event this year. You might not fit in." Those words stung more than I expected. I almost cried. Almost. But instead, I poured a glass of wine, the city lights glimmering through the glass walls of my brand new estate. 10 bedrooms, marble floors, a dining hall fit for royalty. Mine, all mine. That night, something shifted. They thought they'd shut me out, but really, they just freed me. I started making calls to old friends, kind neighbors, and the people who had stood by me when my own family didn't. By morning, every seat at my 32-person dining table was taken, and I made sure word of the dinner spread back to my family without a single invite. The morning of Thanksgiving, chaos began. My phone lit up with messages, photos, and tags. Someone had posted, "Emily's Thanksgiving looks like a scene from a movie." Chandeliers gleamed, gold-trimmed plates shimmered, and the long dining table stretched endlessly down the hall. My family hadn't even started defrosting their turkey yet, but people were already whispering about my dinner online. By noon, the calls started pouring in. Hannah was first, her voice syrupy and fake. "Emily, I heard about your little dinner party. New house, huh? Where did you even get the money for that?" I smiled and said, "It's not a house, Hannah. It's an estate." The line went quiet. An hour later, Daniel texted, "Nice joke. Whose mansion are you borrowing?" I didn't reply. I sent him one picture, me at the grand staircase, black silk gown, champagne in hand. His typing bubbles appeared, then disappeared. No reply. That evening, my guests began to arrive. Laughter filled the halls, the air rich with the smell of roasted turkey, honey-glazed ham, and spiced pies. These people weren't just friends. They were my chosen family, the ones who believed in me. Just as dinner was being served, my phone rang again. Mom. Her voice was sharp. "Emily, what's going on? Why weren't we invited to this event of yours?" I let the silence stretch before saying, "Because you uninvited me first." Her breath caught. She mumbled something about tradition and family appearances, but I could hear the panic underneath. They thought they'd humiliated me, but now they were the ones left scrambling. Then, headlights cut across the driveway. One by one, their cars rolled in. My brother's SUV, my sister's convertible, my parents' luxury sedan. They walked into my estate uninvited, exactly how they treated me. The doors opened and conversation stopped. Mom stood there clutching her pearls, Dad trying to mask his awe, Hannah's eyes darting from the chandeliers to the marble floors, and Daniel pretending not to be impressed. I stayed seated at the head of the table, my glass raised just slightly. "Oh," I said coolly. "I didn't realize uninvited guests were welcome here." A ripple of laughter ran through the room. Hannah spoke first, her voice trembling between envy and disbelief. "Emily, this is incredible. How could you afford something like this?" I met her eyes. "While you were busy laughing at my dead-end job, I was building my own company. Every insult, every doubt, it all led me here." Daniel scoffed, desperate to hold on to his pride. "Please, Emily, you expect us to believe you actually own this place." His voice echoed through the hall, but this time, I didn't need to say a word. The proof was all around us. The moment I opened my mouth to respond, one of my guests, a confident real estate broker, beat me to it. "Actually," she said, smiling at my stunned family, "I was the agent who closed this deal for Emily. $6.2 million, paid in full. She owns every inch of this estate." The color drained from my parents' faces. Mom's lips quivered, Dad's jaw tightened, and Hannah's practiced smile completely vanished. For years they'd told anyone who'd listen that I was the failure of the family, the one who could never measure up. But right there, surrounded by 32 guests, their favorite lie finally collapsed. I raised my glass again, calm and composed. Tonight, I said, I'm not thankful for the family that uninvited me. I'm thankful for the people in this room who saw my worth when my own blood didn't. The guests applauded, their cheers filling the dining hall while my family stood frozen, faces tight with embarrassment. Then Dad's temper snapped. He slammed his hand against the table, his voice booming. Enough. We're still your family. Don't forget where you came from, Emily. You wouldn't be here without us. I leaned forward, meeting his glare. Funny, I said softly. It feels like I got here in spite of you. That's when Mom lost her composure. Her voice trembled, but her words came out sharp and poisonous. Oh, please. Do you really think you earned all this on your own? Your company only exists because of us. The entire room went silent. Forks paused midair. Guests exchanged bewildered looks. Even Hannah and Daniel turned toward her, shocked. I stood slowly. What are you talking about? Mom hesitated, biting her lip, but Dad stepped in, his pride too heavy to swallow. Your startup money, the inheritance from Grandpa. We made sure you got more than the others. That's the only reason you ever had a chance. A wave of whispers swept through the guests. I clenched my fists, keeping my voice steady. More than the others? That's not true. Grandpa told me himself. We all got the same amount. Hannah's face twisted in confusion. Wait, what? But Daniel went pale. Dad, you told us Emily barely got anything. And suddenly it all made sense. They'd lied to everyone, made me look like the struggling, unlucky sister while secretly resenting the fact that I'd outgrown them through hard work and discipline. I took a breath and smiled, calm but cutting. So let me get this straight. You gave me what was already mine, tried to make me look like a failure. And yet, I gestured around the estate, the chandeliers, the walls, the success they swore I'd never reach. I still ended up here, while you're stuck in the same cycle of jealousy and lies. Silence pressed heavy over the room until Hannah suddenly burst out, voice cracking. This isn't fair. You don't deserve any of this, Emily. You're not smarter or better. You just got lucky. I laughed, cold and clear. Lucky? I worked 16-hour days while you sat at home bragging about Dad's money. I built this company from scratch while you lived off validation. This, I swept my hand toward the room, isn't luck. It's proof that I never needed your approval to succeed. Applause thundered through the hall again. My guests stood, clapping and cheering, their energy drowning out Hannah's glare. My family looked small, trapped and humiliated. Then Daniel stepped forward, smirking like a villain with one last card to play. You think this is over? You're not the only one with secrets. Let's see how long your little empire lasts once everyone hears yours. Gasps rippled through the crowd. My heart raced, but my face stayed calm. Go on, I said, folding my arms. Tell them. He grinned, savoring the tension. She's not the self-made saint she pretends to be. She had help, and that help wasn't exactly clean. My guests shifted in their seats, but their eyes were curious, not condemning. You mean my investors? I said smoothly. The ones who believed in my vision. Or the nights I spent coding, building, and pitching while the rest of you were busy drinking and gossiping. Daniel hesitated, faltering. No, I mean. I slammed my hand against the table, voice ringing like steel. Don't twist this, Daniel. You tried to steal my business plan 3 years ago. You pitched it to your friends and failed because you didn't have the discipline to make it real. And now you can't stand that I succeeded where you couldn't. The audience erupted in disbelief. Even Hannah turned on him. You what? You tried to steal her idea. Daniel's face went scarlet. He opened his mouth, then shut it again. His silence told everyone the truth. I straightened, my voice clear and strong. That's the difference between us. You chase shortcuts. I chase results. You tried to tear me down. I built something you can't touch. This home, this company, this life, it's proof that no amount of lies or betrayal can stop someone who refuses to give up. The guests rose to their feet once more, clapping until the sound filled every corner of the house. My family stood there, silent, exposed, stripped of their arrogance. I lifted my glass one final time. So tonight I'm thankful, not for the family that uninvited me, but for the strength they forced me to find. Without them, I might never have realized just how powerful I could be. Cheers filled the hall. Laughter returned, warm and bright. My guests celebrated, their joy washing away years of hurt. My family left quietly, their pride shattered, their lies turned to dust. And I stayed at the head of the table, surrounded by the sound of success and freedom, watching 32 people laugh and feast in the home I built myself. For the first time, I truly understood. I hadn't just hosted Thanksgiving. I had reclaimed everything they tried to take from me. And this time, it was mine to keep.